Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. On this page, I talk about um, technology and money. Sometimes I touch on some other topics, but that's the main thing that I talk about. The main topics that I talk about around here. If you are new to my channel and this page, welcome. I'm glad that the algorithm brought you here, or perhaps someone referred you to my page. I'm glad you're here. And if you're returning, I'm glad you returned. And so, yeah. So, first of all, before I get into today's topic and the things that I'm going to cover, did you have a good week? Are you having a good day so far? Have you taken the time, especially for my healthcare workers out there? Have you taken time to just kind of like stop and just breathe, pause, do something nice for yourself? Say something nice for yourself, just to kind of like turn off, unplug a little bit, right? Yeah, especially for healthcare workers. And even if you are a healthcare worker and not at the bedside, but you're in, or not even a healthcare worker, but you're in some type of position where you're caring for others, whether for work or for in your family, in the role of a provider. Just I'm hoping that everyone's having a good day, a good week, and that you've had a chance or get a chance, if you haven't yet, to do something nice for yourself, because that's so important. So so this week, today, I'm going to do something slightly different for this channel. I wanted to do just a review, or just talk about what's in the news, right? What's in the news with healthcare, IT, what's going on. I'm going to talk about just some stories that have come across come into my email, or that I have come across like in newsletters or on different social media sites. Okay, so I'm just gonna review some of this week's news. One of the pieces of news that I want to talk about is breaking news. Well, somewhat breaking news from just yesterday. So it's Sunday. If you're watching this, for those watching this from the future, is Sunday, June 12th. So yeah, so this week I want to talk about just nursing in the news. There's a lot going on. I know for healthcare worker wise, we're still in the middle of everything that has happened over the past 2.5 years. So I'm going to touch on some things. Nursing in the news. The American Nurses Association just released their racism in nursing report. Brand new. Now, if you all are returning, the ANA, or the American Nurses Association, the ANA released a survey. They surveyed the members of the ANA on people's experiences within the nursing profession around racism. And I did a review of that report, that survey results. And so after this live wraps, I'll be sure to leave links to every article or report that I talk about in the stream today. So we're going to take a look at the ANA's racism in nursing report. It is very lengthy and it goes in deep detail. As you'll see here in a moment, we're going to talk about LeBron James' new hospital, new medical facility that he is opening, and the services that it's going to be providing, and how he's really making inroads into healthcare with his funding and his circle of influence. So yeah, that's what we're going to talk about today, y'all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Okay. I'll share my screen. Here we go. So breaking news. First off, with nursing in the news. So the American Nurses Association, y'all, has just elected a brand new national president. And this is as of yesterday. So today is Sunday, June 12th. And so on yesterday, let me just bear with me momentarily. Let me flip here. Yeah, so just yesterday, on June 11th, the ANA membership assembly elected a brand new president. Now, y'all know Ernest Grant, Dr. Ernest Grant is the current ANA president. Dr. Grant is based in North Carolina. And so his term as ANA president expires on December 31st. So at the end of this year, which you think about it, we're in June right now, 2022. December is really not that far away. That's like 6 months away, y'all. So ANA has elected a brand new president. I got this as breaking news. It was in my inbox this morning. So if you haven't seen the article, again, I'll be sure to leave a link. Now, of course, I've gone to see. Let me make this a little bit bigger. How good can y'all see that? I'll make it a little bit bigger. Hopefully that's better. All right. So so ANA elects Jennifer Minsick Kennedy as new national president. So again, yesterday, the ANA membership assembly held elections. So Dr. Kennedy is going to be the ANA's president to represent America's more than 4.3 million registered nurses. So I have looked her up just to get a better idea. I am a member of the ANA, as well as my state nurses association. So I was curious on who our new elect president, because as registered nurses, we have a lot of collectively, we have a lot of bargaining power, as well as other type of power. So I believe in organizations such as this, where my collective vote, my participation can lead to change. Okay, so I did a look up on who our new president is going to be. Just curious. And she does have her LinkedIn profile is public, where you can just go and learn about her. But the ANA also shares a little bit about her as well. So she has been a registered nurse. She has more than 25 years of nursing experience in a variety of settings, from critical access hospitals in rural areas to home health. She's also done hospital administration, which I think is key. I really believe nurses in leadership positions should have that hospital operational leadership experience, as well as academia. And so I believe in her current role, outside of her current professional role, she works at the University of Oregon as a professor. So she is in academia. She has served as the president of the Arizona Nurses Association. So she does have experience leading nursing organization and as second vice president and treasurer of the ANA. And so her term is going to begin January 1st, 2023. And so they also on yesterday during the membership assembly elected 4 members to serve as officers in other roles on the board of directors. And so again, I'll leave a link. To this article. So yeah, y'all, that's exciting. So we're getting a new president. It's going to be interesting to see the work where Dr. Kennedy's advocacy is going to be. I can see, since Dr. Grant has been our president, initiatives that the ANA has undertaken, such as the racism in nursing and the work that's being done by that group. So it's going to be interesting to see over the next few years the work that Dr. Kennedy is going to spearhead, and what's going to be her the things that she's going to work on and advocate for, in addition to the other things that advocating for. Okay, within the profession. All right. So the next topic, nursing in the news. So a couple of months ago, I did a video on the ANAs. Again, we're focusing on American Nurses Association. So the ANA came together with a commission, the National Commission to Address Racism in Nursing. And they released the results of a survey that they did with over 5,600 nurses. So not just registered nurses, but nurses in all in different roles and positions, showing racism, like the experiences of nursing and racism, and how that survey showed how much it is still a substantial problem within the profession. So there is an infographic. I did a whole video talking about the survey results. Now, before I delve a little bit deeper into the new report that the ANA just released last week. So what they released earlier this year was the survey results. where they surveyed 5,600 nurses. Okay. What ANA released last week is the full report from the National Commission to Address Racism in Nursing. So before I have looked at the report. I have scrolled through it. I have read through it. Some of it not in its entirety because it is over 100 pages. So I will say, just to give a little trigger warning, if topics such as that, if you have experienced something like that, if it was, if it's going to trigger you or put you in a place that where you have been a victim of it, I'll just say, either skip ahead a couple of minutes. I don't want to talk about something that, without giving just a little bit of a warning, because it may bring up a negative emotions within you from things that you have experienced. And I want to be mindful of that. The second thing, now, this is just in response to comments that I've gotten in the past about talking about these things, not a lot, but just because you have not experienced the thing or know of a thing or perpetuated something does not mean it does not exist. Okay. Now I'm going to say, I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay. Cause we're not going to do gaslighting. Okay. So I'm just going to say that. So let's just look very high level. Again, I'm not going to read every page of the report because it is 123 pages, and I will leave a link to it. But just highlight, very highlight, touching on it. So hang on. Here we go. So if you come to the ANA's website, and it's under the Commission's Foundational Report on Racism in Nursing, and they tell you the things that they touch on the contemporary context of it, from the lens of education, from policy, from history, practice, etc. Okay, it really goes deep. Okay, so they do. The report is broken down into several sections. They do a deep dive into the history of racism in nursing and a review of the existing scholarship. So what have other nurse scholars already talked about? Systemic racism in our contemporary society in the United States, because it is a systemic issue. How does this topic show up in the education space? So not just academia, right, at the academic level where you have nurse scholars. What about those people in positions in nursing schools and colleges and universities that perpetuate racism to the students, to their co-workers, right? And how that impacts the people in those departments. The report talks about how racism shows up in policy. So governmental policy, how, policies and things that are made that impact our practice and profession, how it shows up in nursing practice, and then also racism in nursing research themes. So it goes deep. I will say that at the history piece, they talk about nursing's origin story, racism and war. They do talk about Mary Seacole. Okay. Mary Seacole is prominently known to some of us, nurse of color who is considered to be one of the first nurse scientists beyond Florence Nightingale. Okay, nursing and colonialism in the indigenous United States, nursing and American imperialism beyond the continental United States, right? So beyond our, section borders. Also, the interesting part I thought that they address and call out in this report is nursing and the intersectionality of imperialism and racism in Latino nursing, right? Because it's not just racism perpetuated to or by Black or African American nurses. It also can be experienced by Latino nurses, Asian Pacific Islander nurses from other countries where Black and brown people are prominent. So they talk about activism, etc., and do a conclusion. So the report goes very deep. I encourage you, if you're in a positive space, a mindset where you can soak in the information from the report, especially if you are of the mindset that it's not a problem within the practice, or if you're in the mindset of you have seen someone perpetuate it and you have done or said nothing, or you have perpetuated and or continuing to do so, and it is negatively impacting your coworkers because you're such a bully in terms of the things that you're practicing against your coworkers, or even how it shows up in your patients. It may be, I don't know, withholding pain medicine or not paying attention to the complaints. I don't know. I'm just saying, I think it's worth exploring. And based on those survey results that the ANA did earlier this year, it's a problem. Okay, it is a problem. And you think about how that lateral violence to nurses of color, patients of color, and again, not just Black, not just Latino, but perhaps Islamic faith, or even someone of a different gender, how they identify, how that can negatively impact the patient experience or the patient's loved one's experience. So I applaud the ANA for tackling such a sensitive topic to some, right? Because it takes a level of courage, I feel, to tackle it and want to make a difference, okay, in the practice. All right, so that is very high level, the racism in nursing report, and I will leave a link to it so you can peruse through it. You can take a look at it. All right. So LeBron James, y'all. So if you follow sports, now I'm not a sports person. Like I'll watch different sports things once they like the Super Bowl football when it gets to the Super Bowl, NBA when it gets to the playoffs. I'm not a big professional sports follower. Now I do watch NCAA basketball. Now I do that. I am a Tar Heel, so I will say that. But really caught my eye. News story, if y'all had not heard. LeBron James, NBA player. He's originally from West, so LeBron James plans to open a medical facility in his hometown. So this news report is from Blavity. Okay. And this report came out yesterday, but I saw the news about his medical facility last week. So LeBron James, who has already built a school in Akron, Ohio, now plans to add a medical facility in his hometown. So his foundation, the LeBron James Foundation, revealed the plans in a statement on Tuesday. And according to the statement, the I Promise headquarters, that's going to be the name of it, will be a multi-million-dollar facility offering various services to the students that go to his school. So the James I Promise School, and then also within the community. I think this is great. I really think this is a way for a way that someone is using their money and their circle of influence to make a positive change in the community beyond and just a different way. Okay, because you see athletes, have in the past, like having a basketball camp, and basketball camps are great. After school programs are great, giving disenfranchised or disadvantaged students something to do. That's great. But having a school, but now also opening a healthcare facility, a medical facility, I just think it's great. And that's not just because I'm a registered nurse, but I just think it's good. And I can see the long-term impact of not only educating the child, make sure they have children, making sure they have access to quality education, food, etc., but also healthcare. Because if a child is sick, or those around the child or in the household don't have access to healthcare and different other things beyond, just going to see a doctor, how that can impact their education and their ability to prosper. So the health center is set to open in 2023, which again is not that far off, y'all. We're a little bit over 6 months away from the new year. So the health center will partner with various local healthcare providers to offer medical, dental, optometry, and mental health. Great. The behavioral health piece is is there, as well as on-site pharmacy and lab services. The facility will be located within walking distance of LeBron James School, which is our promise school. And you can see here a mock-up from the foundation's Instagram page, and talking and showing a little bit about some of who they are partnered with. And it's for, it says like the families there. So it looks like they listen to the students' families that are part of the school. They express the need for more healthcare services and access to those things, and the affordability piece. And I just, also lab. Did I mention the lab also? I'm not sure. But so anyway, here's a quote from the executive director of the foundation. Quote, access to affordable healthcare has always been a critical need for our families, and further heightened by the last 2 years. So we began rallying our community to bring the experts together under one trusted roof, end quote, restart quote. Being able to provide this important resource for the entire community is only possible because we have incredible partners that share our We Are Family philosophy, end quote. I think it's great. So you can go read that. I'll be sure to leave a link to that Blavity article, and then they go on to talk a little bit more about the basketball piece. Again, he is an athlete, so I don't follow his athletic. He's a top tier athlete, but I think it's great, and it'll be interesting to see. You know what will be interesting to see, y'all, if other professional athletes follow suit with their foundations. And you even think about the impact of this the past 2 years, and making a move such as this, and LeBron James and his circle of influence having the funding to be able to do this despite the past 2 years. It says a lot. It really says a lot. And I say that, and the reason I'm saying that with some mindfulness, because you think about how the past few years, this money and healthcare, somehow we have seen in the news some celebrities and other well-known people have talked about or ran into legal issues because of money, right? So to be able to, that he's able to prosper, that his organization is continuing to prosper, to be able to make a move such as this over the past 2 years, I just think speaks volumes. So, okay, y'all. So that's it. So that's LeBron James' new medical facility. What else is going on, y'all? What else is going on? Oh, child. Now, this is, oh, man. Now, this next story, it got me. It threw me, because this next story is about a hospital up in New England. And not only did they suspend or cut the chief, pharmacy, right? But several people in hospital leadership are not under investigation, but got suspended, including the hospital's chief nursing officer. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, this one got me, because I'm like, how in the world? Just bear with me, y'all. Y'all see my computer white screen in here for a second. Just bear with me. Just a little bit of a lag there. Hang on 1 second. Let's see. Okay, there we go. All right, let me make it a little bit bigger, and I'm going to reshare my screen. But this one got me. This story got me, because for not only several key staffers within the hospital got suspended, but also the hospital's chief nursing officer. So to me, this is one of the biggest pieces of nursing news that happened in the last week, beyond the American Nurses Association electing a new president yesterday. Let me share my screen here if y'all had not heard. So this hospital up in New Hampshire, several gallons of fentanyl came up missing. Now, if you're a registered nurse, a pharmacist, a physician, someone who's used to handling drugs and medications, you know how much fentanyl that you give a patient, right? Like I have hung fentanyl drips, right? Or, mix, how you have medications that, you do certain things with. So you think about like a fentanyl drip, right? A patient who, and then mind you, I've been away from the bedside like 18, 19 years. So I don't know if they still do fentanyl drips, but I know like they would have like fentanyl PCAs. Like you have like a fentanyl on PCA, anesthesial pump. And that fentanyl drip or that PCA may be, and I'm going through my brain, that might be what, maybe 30 cc's or 30 milliliters or 60 milliliters, maybe like a PCA maybe be about this tall and maybe about that wide of fentanyl, right? 30 cc's, 60 cc's. At this hospital in New Hampshire, 7 gallons of fentanyl came up missing. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot, y'all. But anyway, so all right, let's get into the news story because this one threw me for a loop. All right, so make it a little bit bigger. So investigations. This is from the AP, and again, I'll be sure to leave a link to all the articles and news that I'm sharing from this week. If you're watching from the future and you this video showed up on your YouTube algorithm and you just jumped ahead in the video, welcome. I'm glad you're here. This week I'm talking about nursing in the news. We've already covered the American Nurses Association just elected a new president yesterday, Saturday, June 11th. Also the ANA, we've already talked about, just recapping, we've already talked about the ANA's new racism in nursing report that came out. That's like over 120 pages. There's a lot happening if you're not in healthcare with racism being perpetuated in nursing and how it's negatively impacting. And we just talked about LeBron James' medical facility. Now we're going to look at this hospital in New Hampshire. So more than 7 gallons of fentanyl have been reported missing over several months at a New Hampshire medical center, prompting an investigation by state officials and the license suspension of several staffers. Y'all, so not only did these people get suspended from their jobs, their license also got suspended. So like if you're a pharmacist or pharmacy person, pharmacist, pharmacy technician, nurse, registered nurse, nursing assistant, licensed practical nurse, licensed vocational nurse, you're licensed by whatever state you're practicing in. And when your license gets suspended, you can't work in that field, because it's like a driver's license. When your driver's license gets suspended, you're not supposed to be driving. So these people got their license suspended. So the New Hampshire Board of Pharmacy will consider whether to suspend or revoke the medical center's pharmacy permit on June 29th. So the facility is a Cheshire Medical Center. It looks like it's in Keene, New Hampshire. That is a lot, because you think about, if that medical center's pharmacy permit gets revoked, how would this hospital stay open? Right? I don't know how that would happen, how you would be able to provide inpatient or even outpatient care without a pharmacy permit. That's a lot. So to me, that beyond 7 gallons of fentanyl being missing, but the fact that this facility is looking like their pharmacy permit will be suspended or revoked, that tells me this is a big news story, which I'm surprised. Like, well, I should say, because I don't watch TV, I get my news like so many of us get from like social media and like healthcare newsletters and things. But anyway, so the state has suspended the license of several staffers at the Keene Hospital, including the chief nursing officer. So y'all, when I saw that, I was like, yo, the CNO got her nursing license suspended. Like, what did the CNO have to do with that? Right? Because so if you're not in healthcare or never worked in a healthcare facility like a hospital or a clinic, especially in a hospital, like the bulk of drug stock, they'll have like the clinic or like the inpatient hospital unit will keep like a small stock amount of the drug. Like they may keep, for example, I was talking about like PCAs, they may keep like 10 on the unit where, the nurse can easily get to it, but the actual pharmacy or the pharmacy warehouse is where like it's like a warehouse, like where all of your drugs and things are kept. In those areas, at least at the facilities that I have worked at, first of all, not anybody can just walk into the pharmacy. Second of all, not just anybody can walk into the pharmacy warehouse. Okay. Even like in hospital administration. So the fact that the CNO got her license suspended, I was like, what happened there? But anyway, so back to the article. So it says some of the fentanyl was allegedly stolen by a nurse who admitted to taking bags of the drug from October to January. Now, it doesn't say the year, but we're just going to assume that the nurse took it from October 2021 through January of 2022. They didn't give a year, but I'm just going to assume that it was within like the last 6 months to a year, like that. So this nurse signed an agreement not to practice in February. Didn't say that nurse who was taking the drug was the CNO, but it just says allegedly stolen by a nurse taking bags of it. So fentanyl, if you all don't know, is a synthetic opioid that you use it to treat patients with like who had like procedures, like if they had like an outpatient procedure or inpatient procedure, or if a patient like have chronic pain, like you can have it like in liquid form, which it sounds like this was, since it's in gallons, but they're also like in pill form. It's an opioid. So, quote, the Cheshire Medical Center continues to work closely with government agencies on the ongoing investigation of this matter, even as we revise and refine our policies and protocols regarding the secure handling of pharmaceuticals, end quote. And also the DEA, the feds, the Drug Enforcement Administration, is conducting an investigation. That's it. It's a short article. I'm sure there's going to be more to come. I'm going to be watching this news story because I'm curious. Like it said that the fentanyl was stolen by a nurse, but it doesn't say it was the CNO. But I'm like, what does someone in hospital leadership and executive leadership position, like what is their, I don't know if it's the she or he or them, they, how they identify, but what do they have? What is their role in such that they got suspended or they're licensed to practice from the state? That means that person can't work in healthcare right now. So that's a lot of drugs, y'all. I don't know what's going on, or if somebody was trafficking or selling or what was going on, but there's going to be more to come, clearly, especially with that June 29th date coming up. Okay, so the last story with nursing in the news, things that have happened in healthcare IT the last week. My last story is focusing more on healthcare IT, and it's from Becker's. If you don't follow Becker's, y'all, first of all, Becker's has a lot of different newsletters. So Becker's has a hospital review. Becker's has a healthcare news organization, and within that they have like these different segments where you can get information. You can sign up for their newsletters. Like they have like a Becker's healthcare IT newsletter, Becker's news, just different things. So this one I follow. I'm so interested in like healthcare innovation, like not the systems and technology we are using in healthcare right now today, whether inpatient, outpatient, insurance, etc. But what is the healthcare technology of the future? That's what I'm really interested in, the innovation side, and that's what I'm trying to get into. What I'm interested in and what I follow in terms of news. So Amazon. So if you didn't know, before this article, Amazon has been making a lot of moves, even before this article, within the healthcare space. Like, right now you can go on Amazon and like they have that that segment where you can order your prescription drugs through Amazon. They also have where you can buy a lot of medical supplies on Amazon. Now, I know that because when I had a family member who was end of life over the past few years, the person, they were at home, and we got a lot of her medical supplies off of Amazon. It was fast. The costs were good. Like we would have the provider let us know, products to look at, and we would just order them on Amazon, and the products would show up the next day. right? Just as good as going to like a medical. We got like not even medical supplies, but also DME, like durable medical equipment. We got that off of Amazon. So Amazon has been in the healthcare space. They're moving even more in the healthcare technology space. Okay, so in this article on Becker's from just this Thursday, y'all, so that's 3 days ago, Amazon's 7 recent healthcare moves. So this is more so on the IT side. So from inking new cloud partnerships with large health systems to launching a healthcare accelerator program, Amazon is continuing to increase its healthcare presence. Let me just do a momentary pause, y'all. And let me do a time check. Okay, so I'm 35 minutes in, so I'll be wrapping up soon. I just wanted to see how I was doing on time, because I didn't want to make this too long of a stream on a Sunday afternoon, which I hope your day is going good. All right, so here are 7 healthcare moves Amazon made since May, as reported by Becker's Hospital Review. Number 1, Amazon's subscription-based service, which helps caregivers provide remote support to older loved ones, introduced a feature that allows up to 10 caregivers to help care for an aging loved one and let caregivers provide remote daily routines. So that's interesting. Okay. So you think about how, if you haven't been following healthcare IT in the news, hospital at home programs, hospitals without walls programs have really taken off, especially over the past few years with, what has been going on in the world. So it looks like this one is along that vein of like a hospital without walls, which is, let's see, this one is like Alexa Together Elder Care subscription service, and allows primary caregivers, again, to help care for an aging loved one, where you get access to daily alerts and quick check-ins through an activity feed. You can set up routines through Alexa. Let me just be honest. I know Alexa's been, I don't like computers talking to me. I know people are like, Alexa, play the new Dua Lipa song. Alexa, play Kenny Chesney. And Alexa, okay, playing Kenny Chesney. I don't like computers talking back to me like that. But anyway, so this is a subscription-based service that allows is for caregivers. So that's great. So number 2, AWS, Amazon Web Services, has launched a healthcare accelerator to boost startups that focus on health equity. The program is intended to improve health outcomes for the underserved and will invest in technologies that help address research, innovation, access to care, increasing that, and streamlining supply chains. I think that's great. Anything around equity and ensuring that everybody has the same access to all services within healthcare, dental, behavioral health, pharmacy, etc. That's really important, again, which is why I like what Lebron James is doing with his new medical facility that he's opening next year, making it equitable and accessible for everybody. Number 3, Danville, Pennsylvania-based Geisinger tapped Amazon as its strategic cloud provider and plans to transition its entire digital portfolio of more than 400 applications and numerous workflows to Amazon Web Services. Now, that's big. Excuse me. If you ever work for like a traditional hospital or health system, you're aware that a lot of, traditionally, clinical systems, patient life safety systems have been like on-prem, what they call on-premises, meaning like the data center is like on that hospital or health system's campus or within close proximity to that. And it has like physical or virtual services that are servers that are on-prem. So it looks like this organization, this organization is going 100% cloud for all of their digital portfolio of more than 400 applications. That's huge. That's a big investment into the digital space. That's really big. I think out of this list, that might be one of the biggest ones, because that speaks to me. I know that's a multi-million-dollar project. Yeah, I know that's somebody spending some money. They cutting a check up there. All right, so number 4, Boston-based Tufts Medicine partnered with Amazon to move its entire digital healthcare ecosystem, including Epic infrastructure, to AWS again. Traditional healthcare, health systems and hospitals beyond even if who don't have Epic may have Cerner or Allscripts, etc. They may have on-prem servers in a physical data center. But Tufts is moving their Epic EHR to AWS. That's big. Cutting the check. Number 5, Amazon is looking to hire a healthcare. Oh, this is a job. A healthcare engagement advisor to work in this AWS HIPAA compliance program. Now, I looked at this job description because I was curious, what are they doing with that? And it looks like they're looking for like a provider, physician type role, but it is interesting. Number 6, New York City-based Columbia Medicine. New York City-based Columbia University Irving Medical Center's former CIO, or Chief Information Technology Operations Officer, left that health system, and he's going to AWS. He's going to Amazon Web Services as his head of healthcare compliance. That's a big brain drain for Columbia University, right? To lose their Chief Information Technology Operations Officer, because he's gotten all of that good knowledge. He has that good knowledge from working in a health system, and doing technology operations for a healthcare system and going to AWS. I think that's really big. And then the last one, AWS, Amazon Web Services Accelerator, has funded 3 digital health startups. Each startup will receive $225,000 in cash and credits, as well as training, mentoring, and guidance from Amazon. Y'all, those are some big stories. There's a lot going on. There's way more than what I just shared that has happened this week in nursing. Also, this week in the news in nursing, there's a lot more. I'm sure folks have heard about what happened down at that hospital down in Florida. There was an incident at a hospital in North Carolina around workplace violence, etc. It's just a lot going on, y'all. But I didn't want to hold y'all too long here. Oh yeah, I'm at the 40-minute mark. That's it, y'all. That's it. So if you made it this far in the video and you're watching from the future, please drop like a green heart in the comments, or like and share this video if you found the information helpful, if you found the content engaging. I will be sure to leave a link to every article in the description once I get this posted up on YouTube. Thanks for returning to my channel, and also thanks to everyone who shares my content with your friends, your family, and just supporting the channel. My Cash App is ComputerandCoin. I appreciate all donations. It encourages me to keep going, and I will see y'all in the next video.